that really makes me feel like it should be Friday. It's The Streets, We Become Heroes from original pirate material, and before that, U2, Even Better Than the Real Thing. So I want to do something slightly new now on Enemy Radio. I'd like to introduce you to a hero of mine, a hero of Enemy Radio. I think it's time that people behind the scenes got a bit more kudos on air. I would like to introduce you to Mr. Dan Pryor. I've got a new feature on the show. I'd like to do this at the end of the day, because Dan's finished, you see. It's literally at 6:30 right now. So Dan's going to run off any minute. So basically, I want to catch Dan. Dan's the man who puts together music beds. This is a good example of one of Dan's music beds. Made this for me a number of years ago, but yeah, I'd like to introduce you to Dan Pryor. Dan, say hello to the listeners.
Hello John and listeners.
Yeah, this is Dan. So ultimately what I'm going to do each day, because Dan is a man who has views of his own. He comes out with things that really no one else ever seems to come out. It's constantly fascinating, is what I'll say. So this is a new thing on the show. It's called At the End of the Day with Dan. And Dan, I would like to know, basically, at the end of each day, what have you learnt about today at Enemy Radio? What's happened to you? What's gone on? Because yesterday you weren't happy because you got kicked out of your studio and you didn't get to do all your work during the day because there was sessions going on and all this. So today, has it been a better day, Dan?
Yeah, today's been better because I've been in my studio and making stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yesterday I was just making a list of beats per minute for different tracks.
I saw you doing
on
this,
a spreadsheet, alphabetically.
BPMs per minute. Because you like order, don't you, Dan?
Well, it's handy if I need to mix a couple of tracks together to know that they're going to mix.
Okay, so you've got like a long list of BPMs that you made yesterday. So that was quite a worthwhile day, I think. Quite a good exercise. So today, what have you learnt today, Dan?
What, at work?
Yeah.
I learned something last night.
What did you learn last night?
I remember we were saying, I went to, you know me, I'm all about culture.
You've got a new girlfriend as well.
Brilliant. Yeah, let's just start straight away with the new girlfriend. Excellent. When I get dumped in a week, we could talk about that as well.
So you've got a new girlfriend, so you've taken to get a bit of a cultural experience. What did you go to?
I went to see a production of Hamlet at the Courtyard Theatre of Hackney sort of area.
Okay, and what was your override? You saw Hamlet, one of the most famous Shakespeare plays, one of the most culturally revered, one of the most sort of celebrated pieces of literature in history.
I had to spend the whole last couple of weeks not letting anyone tell me what happens in Hamlet because I didn't know anything about it. So I was like, even though it's a couple of 100 years old, I didn't want any spoilers.
Okay, no spoilers for Hamlet. Even though you could quite easily, you've seen it. Yeah. It's not filmed, Dan.
Well, I've seen it. I went to see it. It happened live.
Okay, so what did you take from it? The experience?
Couple of things. Well, it was good and everything. I'll just get that out of the way. But it was like you were around it like a boxing ring. It was quite a squared area. You were sitting all around it. I thought it might be a bit more like a stage and a few rows, but
no, it's more sort of you're in the round sort of thing.
Indeed, and they came out and were right in front of you. Anyway, there was one scene where this girl was right into it.
So you're basically, can we have a character name?
I think the thing was different characters played different people at different points, so that was mental to start with. That was hard to get your head around, but this girl, she came in, she was crying, something bad had happened. Her dad had died in it, Hamlet's dad. That's not a spoiler, everyone knows that.
Right.
And, she was crying and grizzling, and basically she had snot coming off her and everything. And so, anyway, at one point she did this big dramatic turn.
Yeah.
And this bit of flob just came off of her face. And seriously, I heard it land on the floor, and I saw it land, and it was a pretty big puddle of mess that she just turned and splattered. So I spent the rest of that scene scared I was going to get splattered.
So this is the thing that you took from going to see Shakespeare.
Don't sit in the front row because you could get splattered by something if they're getting a bit into it.
Gob.
2 is eat, because I was sitting there and there was a bit where it was all mimed.
Yeah.
And I hadn't eaten since lunch and my stomach was going for it.
So you were thinking about food and how the woman.
I wasn't thinking about
food. A lot of. Okay, it's all about your stomach, Dan. Come on.
I just noticed it go, and I was like, "Oh, hello, that's my stomach." And then I had to spend the rest of the scene kind of trying to breathe in a different way and sit in a different way, and that was worrying.
Okay, and did your partner enjoy herself?
She heard my stomach.
Okay, so that was the first time for today. So not a great deal learned, but Dan, thank you very much for coming in. At the end of the day, it's been fun. And I'll see you tomorrow. This is Groove Armada on Enemy Radio.